All right, I'm back in the shop again. So I just want to give a recap of what we've done. I've done quite a bunch of stuff off camera. I did have a video the other day that the sound didn't work in. I just haven't had time to voice over. And really all I talked about was the fact that I actually shot black instead of silver as a base coat, and I sanded the black all down nice and flat. I found black worked very well for me. Showed a lot of the flaws, was really easy to pick them out. Does some pretty much same thing as silver. But what's very interesting though is that I actually left the base mostly, when I sanded it all down, very translucent looking black, and the white base that I put over it was able to cover in two coats and cover fairly evenly. So something to think about. You know, I think really with white, as long as the base is even underneath, I think it just lays down better and it doesn't have different blotches or spots. But it was very interesting. It only took two coats of white to really cover it over the black, which I thought was going to happen. I tested it on some flaps and it worked well, so I did it on the rest of it. So where are we at? So today I'm just going to kind of show how I put the wing mask on. I've already gotten the inboard wing done already. The plane was painted white. I'm using Auto Air or Kratex paint. Let's see, do I have it? I have it here somewhere. Hold on. In this case, I shot Autoborn Sealer on it. Sealer white. That's the actual base color of it. Again, pretty good coverage. I was able. You shoot it a little bit differently. You got to shoot it pretty dry. But it was pretty good, and total amount added with the white was about 1 3/4 ounces, which is pretty much on par with most coverage, at least that I found. Be able to put enough paint down. So pretty promising. What I really liked about it dries in about 10 minutes. You can pretty much mask on it in a couple hours if you wanted to. So yeah, so next steps, we're going to mask it off now, and the plan is to shoot the blue first. The paint scheme is this one here, which I kind of use as the thumbnail. So that's the paint scheme, paying tribute to Paul Walker and Jimmy Casale and the '88 team. Very similar paint schemes, and they took to Kiev. So yeah. So we're going to start masking off. The one thing with the Auto Air, you have to use low tack tape. For example, like 3M makes some stuff that's pretty good. It's pretty low tack and sticks. If you use anything with tack on it, you do run the risk of pull-ups. Again, one of the tricks that I know Wendy's gone over, and he's giving credit to John Brodak, is using a hair dryer, putting a little heat on it, and pulling up anything with ease. When I pull these masks up, I just run the heat gun over them, get it loose, and then just lightly pull it up. And this paper is pretty low tack to begin with. All right, so I'm going to lay this all down on one sheet, and what I did was I cut it out on my machine. And what I did is I pulled the stars out, and I pulled the numbers out already, because that happens. This is silver, and these are blue, and the 3 striped areas are set up for color. So what we're going to do first is we're going to shoot the blue first. So blue on top, blue stripe through the side, blue rudder, blue in the stars, blue leading edge into the scallop. But the blue I'm using is what they call Hot Rod Sparkle Blue by Wicked Colors. And in order to shoot it, you shoot it over a black sealer. So what I'll do is I'm taping this all off. We'll shoot the black sealer, and then we come over with the blue. And really has this really nice effect. Really deep looking purplish blue effect in it, sparkles. Really looks pretty cool in the sun. So that's the next steps. All right. So here we gotta go. We gotta set the mask up. We gotta put the transfer tape on it. So yeah, so what I did was I peeled out the numbers ahead of time, right? Just because it's easier. I know they have to come out anyway. And that's where we'll start. So I have transfer tape, which is really just a big roll of masking tape. It's kind of what I would describe it as. This seems to work fast. It's not too tacky, and it's transparent enough to see through it. What you do is roll out the masking tape, and you just want to lay this down so there are no big wrinkles in it. And you just drop it down and push it down, and then from a sign place you get a squeegee like this, and you can just We'll roll it out, take any bubbles out of it. Okay. Okay. All right, and what I'll do is I'll flip it like that. And again, just really pressing it in and down and squeezing it out. So yeah, so the plan is we're going to shoot the black sealer first and the blue. Once we get the blue shot, we're then going to pick up one of the scallops and shoot the red. We're going to put the letters back, the numbers and letters back in here. And you know, in the stars, we put because this has a silver outline of the stars, so we'll put the star centers back in and the outline, be able to shoot the outline with this mask still on. Around the numbers will be silver, and they'll have a blue outline, so we'll have to come back and shoot the outline, which I'll cover each step of the process here as best as I can. Certainly we'll take pictures, and maybe I'll put together a slideshow just to post so people can get a flavor of the step-by-steps. So, all right. So just cutting the excess transfer tape off. So what I do is I use the trailing edge to line up the paint mask, and there's a piece of tape on the trailing edge right on the inside part of the fuselage where I line up the mask, outside the mask. So I know if I get that corner right and I run this on the leading edge, this mask will lay in the same spot. I do have mask on top and bottom, and I'll just show you quick because I've already done the outboard bottom. So if you look, it's already on. It's all covered. We're ready to shoot the black here. Black and then blue, and then that'll be silver, and that's red. Alright. I do want to just cut this off. And what I'll do is I'll just cut the edge, the leading edge off, so it's just don't have to deal with extra material flopping around as I go do this. You know, this is one of those tasks that are always good if you have a helper. So if you can, these are one of the, like I said, these are some of the steps that really help if you have an extra set of hands to help you out with it. All right, so we're ready to get mask in here. Oh, all right, so another trick that I do to be able to get the mask down is what I do is I take this and I lightly score the back without cutting through the mask. I lightly score the paper. I don't want to go through the mask, but I slightly score so I can peel that paper up so I can have an edge to stick down before I peel all the paper. Anybody's dealt with masks before, sometimes they're a pain if you peel all the backing paper off. A little bit of a pain to kind of get in position without wrinkling it up. I've had pretty good success doing it this way. I've kind of been able to lay it down pretty wrinkle-free. Anytime you deal with large masks, you got to have a good plan. When they're single smaller masks, it's pretty straightforward. You can usually handle them yourself. But this is where it'd be great to have a helper because then you can get able to help you with the mask. I just want to make sure. All right. So what we'll do, we'll just readjust the camera a little bit. Okay. All right, and right there, I have a piece of 1/4 inch tape that kind of sets me off the fuselage 1/4 of an inch, which lines up with the edge of the mask. And what I'll do is I'll just lay it on there. Obviously, I've test fit this piece up here and looked at it. And what I'll do is kind of just make sure it's right where it wants to be. And without sticking it down, I'll get it lined up in the corner. Without, you don't want to stick it. Just want to get it so it's right at the edge. Okay, that's pretty good. So now I have my trailing edge lined up perfectly. I have it right on that piece over there. It lays out perfectly on the edge. And it should meet up with the other side if I did all my calculations right. Okay. So now the fun part, peeling back the transfer without messing up the mask. Just carefully peeling it back without sticking it to yourself or any of the parts on it. Okay. All right, now here's a trick. Gotta do this. What you want to do, and this is where a helper will become great, but you want to just hold it so you don't have any bubbles in it, and you just roll it up. And hopefully it lines all up. You know, sometimes it could be a real pain to get them to line up on the leading edge or around the trailing edge. You really got to take your time, and that's why I found that I always have using the trailing edge and putting reference marks on it has really been helpful. You do get some air bubbles in it occasionally, so you just work the air bubbles out. All right. And let's see which edge of the corner we'll pick it up from. Okay, so now we're going to pull up the transfer tape, and you just got to go slow because you don't want to peel up anything. And I find if you pull it against itself, it seems to work best. And once you get it going, it's pretty straightforward. And like I said, just pull it back against it. You know, using masks really cut down on the time and accuracy of some of these paint jobs. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a learning curve of laying it out. You know, Cena does a lot of work for me. As we call him the artist, he really helps me out a lot with it. But then, you know, once it's laid out, you got to be able to put it in cuttable sheets, and you got to figure out how to lay it out and how to lay it on top of each other. Some of the harder jobs to do, straightforward lettering is straightforward, but when you got to put outlines on it, it really takes a little bit of thought on how to mask. Like in this case, I know how I've thought about it. So this will all be shot silver first, and then we'll come back in and I'll lay the main letters around and then come shoot the outline blue. All right, and when I pick it up, I'll be just about perfect. You just gotta, like I said, you gotta have some thought about how you're gonna attack it, and think about the best way to do it so you minimize the amount of masking you gotta do and taping, and you know. All right, so I got some very small lettering over here. I need to just be careful with that I don't pick up. Sometimes the small lettering's a pain. Okay. All right. So you get some air bubbles in it. Just push the air bubbles out. If they're around the lettering, you just want to make sure it lays down because you don't want paint to get under the seam. Pretty good. So we just want to lay this corner down. And hopefully it lined up with the other side pretty well. It looks decent. Okay. Hold on a second, I'm gonna tape that on. Now, before I do that, so what I'm gonna do is tape around the root here just to get the line I want. So I know it's a 1/4 inch at the back. I'm just laying out this corner here. This was the first one I cut, and I didn't leave the edge, this corner edge on like I did nicely on this one. You see that side, that was in the mask already. For some reason I cut this side of the mask, I wasn't paying attention for a second. So instead of wasting a whole new mask, I just knew I'd have to tape this edge. So you gotta just take a little bit extra time here and tape the edge in. Not bad. See a spot I gotta fix. This is always the time of year when the shop gets to be turned upside down. And I'm looking for a pair of glasses to help me a little. Maybe they're outside. All right, they're somewhere. Ah, voila. Just to really make sure I get that edge nice and clean and tight. Okay. Get a really, really sharp knife. Just want to clean up this one edge where the tape is. What you do is just put light pressure on the tape. Do not cut through the tape. Okay. And there you go. And we just got to clean up an edge here where it comes to a point. Okay. All right. And it's actually pretty close to lining just about perfectly up. Gotta do some cleanup over there. Oh. And that's what you end up with. So that's all pretty much ready to be shot with the black. I gotta do some back masking here, protect that. The canopy actually gets shot with black as well because it's going to use a green hot rod sparkle on it, so it has to be a black base on it. And again, it makes the green kind of come through with this really sparkly, candy looking green color. It's pretty neat. It does a whole bunch of things in the sun, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so and that's how I kind of mask. And what I'll do is I'll tape the ends up. I'll take some. I've been using the frog tape, the yellow frog tape. I don't have any. It's coming here. That's very low tack. That seems to be very good, especially for masking areas. So what I'll do is I'll mask that off back here. And then we're going to get started back here on the stab. But same process. The stab is obviously a lot easier, much smaller. Right, you're able to lay your piece out, but I'll do the same thing. I'll have a mark on a 90-degree mark here with tape where I want that blue stripe to start. Line it up on the edge of the trailing edge because it's a flat trailing edge, and then just lay the mask over. And the mask is cut just to be perfectly the size of the stab. So same exact process, top and bottom, top and bottom. And that's pretty much it. So I'll continue to cover some of this. I'll cover small sections of it at a time. But this plane is actually really coming along faster than I thought. I didn't think I'd beat up to the step already. There's a good chance I may even have this ready by Jonal, which is about 2.5 weeks away, 3 weeks away from me. But it should be pretty close. If I can get the colors on with no drama and minor touch-ups and repairs, definitely a good shot at it. And the other thing I do recommend is anywhere you have a seam, like where the cutouts are, you have a seam here, just before you paint, just run a piece of tape over it, just for security reasons, like I did on this side. If you look on this side, I just ran a couple pieces of masking tape over a 1/4 inch, just to keep any paint from getting in there. Otherwise, you end up like, in this case, you have a shot black, I'd end up with a black line in there. And after you get done unmasking, you go, I can see a black line in it. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed the videos, and hopefully you get something out of them. And if you do, like, subscribe, and again, the more we can all share the techniques that we use, the better the hobby is, the better it's for everyone else. So thanks everyone, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.